Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Movie Universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today, along with my brand new mask, I got my bro Antoni here to do a special Power Rangers interview. So, we're on episode 4 right now of Interview with a Power Ranger Fan.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening to you, movie fan.
Good evening, Antoni. All right. Well, some of these questions I'm sure, we've discussed this before, and I know your perspective on it already, but, since I got to ask anyway, so here we are. Okay, for starters, for Power Rangers, which season did you start with?
Well, Mighty Morphin.
Hmm.
That was when I was a toddler growing up in Cebu, Philippines. And believe me when I say it, that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was quite the hit in the Philippines. And it's not just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers alone, but also the original Sentai series. Not necessarily Jurenja, but uh, Tabarenja, Five Man, Jetman, Bioman, and what was that? Ah, uh, Live Man, Mask Man, and Flashman, among others.
Really?
Hmm. So Super Sentai was also
Oh, sorry.
excuse me. So Super Sentai was quite huge in the Philippines at the time,
Hmm.
and that's how I got into it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. That's for starters. Let's see what else. How many seasons have you seen so far?
Well, I've seen Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all three seasons, Zeo, Turbo in
Hmm.
Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force. Well, Time Force on repeat. Wild Force was definitely the season that helped me to be more reacquainted with the Power Rangers lore. Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Jungle Fury. I didn't see much of Mystic Force and Operation Overdrive. I do owe it to myself to catch RPM a lot more. I've only caught a little bit
Hmm.
of Samurai
All that.
and Megaforce and a little bit of Dino
Hmm.
Charge, but it's mainly the Saban era, the original Saban era, and the Disney era that I have a lot more fondness with.
Okay, that's cool. Let's see. I don't need to ask if you looked up the original show because that's where you started. So, and Super Sentai, well, you've definitely said that one. So, have you ever collected any of the merchandise, like the toys and such?
No, but I kind of remember just watching them in passing. Probably, probably some smudgy memories here and there, but I never really collected any merchandise.
Hmm.
It
Okay,
would be a dream if I did, but let's just say that I have other priorities.
I got you. It's all good.
Mhm.
Let's see. Who's your favorite Power Ranger and why?
That's a hard one. To choose one favorite Power Ranger is a chore, but if I were to pick seven favorite Power Rangers and make them
Sure.
into a team, this would be it. For Red Ranger, I would go with Wes Collins. Without a
Mm.
doubt, he's pretty much the king of the Red Rangers for a reason because his story arc is the most engaging and the most thrilling and probably the most brilliantly crafted I've ever seen in Power Rangers history. And I have to give major, major kudos to Coach Jason Font for embodying this iconic Red Ranger. So I would definitely have him in charge to lead his team.
Okay.
And for Black Ranger, I would go with Adam Park. He's definitely a step up Zach Taylor. That's not to say that Zach was not memorable, but Adam was really a lot more tactful as well as very level headed and very focused.
Sure.
On top of that, he has a lot of smarts, both physical smarts and book smarts. So
Okay.
got it all.
Right.
As for Blue Ranger, I really, really love. Well, this is going to be a tough one for Blue Ranger, but I love Kai Chen. He has
Okay.
a sort of take charge quality that I thoroughly enjoy. For like Silver Ranger, yeah, Silver Ranger, I'm going with Zane. I'm
Oh
going with
yeah.
Zane because this gentleman needs a whole lot more love, and Coach Justin Nemo's charisma absolutely nails it so darn much.
Sure.
Then for another six ranger or another extra ranger, I would go with Mike Corbett. Yeah. Mike
Okay.
Corbett is definitely one that I thoroughly enjoy in terms of his story as well as his acceptance of his destiny to become the new Magna Defender.
Oh yeah.
We got Yellow Ranger being Tanya Sloan. Yeah, Tanya Sloan.
Okay.
I think she really needs a lot more love. As for Pink Ranger, Jen Scotts. No questions asked. Jen Scotts is definitely the clearest example of a Pink Ranger who knows how to take charge, who knows how to take initiative. And I figured that a team up of Zane, Mike, Wes, Adam, Kai, Tanya, and Jen, that would be the ultimate dream team. Believe me when I say that. Now, let's just say I were to do another dream team of, let's say, red, another dream team, for example. Then I would definitely go with Eric Myers being the Red Ranger, and then Tommy Oliver being the Green Ranger, Merrick Balaton being the Silver Ranger, followed by Danny Delgado as the Black Ranger. And then for Blue Ranger, I would go with Chad Lee. Yellow Ranger, without a doubt, Taylor Earhart. And for Pink Ranger, I would go with Kendricks Morgan. So there you go. You got two teams of 7-person dream team Ranger teams, for lack of a better word, with
Nice.
Eric Myers being the Red Ranger to his team, or Red Ranger leader to his team, and Wes Collins being the Red Ranger leader to his team. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, it is. I like it. Okay, let's see. Uh, what's your favorite Zord or Megazord?
My favorite Megazord. Well, you can't go wrong with the original. You can't go wrong with the original Dino Zord whatsoever. I like the Thunder Zord as well,
I agree.
but I would go also with Pyramidas from Power Rangers Zeo. And I know I'm showing a lot of bias for Time Force because, hello, it's my number one favorite season of all time. But I'm going with the Q Rex
Sure.
Zord. You got to go with the Q Rex
Okay.
Zord,
Cool.
and especially the main Time Force Ranger Zord. But Hurix Zord pretty much wins them all.
Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. How about okay? What's your take on the movies?
Well, the Power Rangers movie from 1995, it's a whole lot of fun. I kind of wish that Dulcia had been integrated into the main series. In
Sure.
my opinion, I think Dulcia could have been the green alien ranger to join alongside Delphine, and Sestra should have been the pink alien ranger because, after all, it does seem like a very interesting concept to have had Dulcia join the alien rangers as the Green Ranger, or the first female Green Ranger, and not
Sure.
just the extra mentor figure. It was fun, really. the The 1995 Power Rangers movie is a whole lot of fun, and it's really cool seeing these guys on the big screen. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie from 1997. Now, this is one that I kind of have a little bit of contention with
Mm,
because Turbo's history is kind of a mess in of itself. And my take on this is this particular movie should have been a send off to the Zeo Rangers.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad movie. It's still fun, but I feel like this movie could have been better if it had followed the footsteps of Orenja versus Karenja. Like you could have had Tommy, Rocky, Adam, Tanya, and Kat, plus Jason as the Gold Ranger, forming as one team. Then for the Turbo team, you could have had TJ, Justin, Carlos, Ashley,
Sure.
and Cassie. But guess
Sure.
who
Yeah.
joins along them? Kimberly, but in the more Americanized version of Radieta from
Right. Right.
Karenja. That would have made a lot more sense rather than just having Jason and Kimberly as the glorified allies.
Yeah,
In
and even
fact,
then, they didn't do a good job with it.
that could have done a lot more service to the movie, as well as had a more reasonable send off for the OGs or the old guard. This could have been a much better send off for Tommy, Rocky, Adam, Tanya, Kat, Jason, and Kimberly, while making way for TJ, Justin, Carlos, Ashley, and Cassie. And here's another
Sure.
hot take that I've
Yeah.
always
Definitely.
argued until the day I am no longer in this earth. TJ should have been the Red Turbo Ranger from the very beginning. Justin, yeah, I know that he already started as the Blue Turbo Ranger, and I don't like to hear the hullabaloo of him being this unnecessary Kid Ranger because I ain't having it. I'm still going to defend him. And Blake Foster is brilliant in his own way, so I'll let that one slide. I think if you've seen my tributes,
I did.
or more appropriately to those videos focused on Turbo, i.e., Wait and See, and Carlos and the Count, you already know.
Hmm.
And then Carlos as the Green Ranger, Ashley as the Yellow Ranger, and Cassie as the Pink Ranger.
Hmm.
And like I said, have Kimberly join as a sort of white racer version of, Radieta.
Sure.
There you go. Then you could have had a more reasonable send off for the old guard, And for the new guard in TJ, Justin, Carlos, Ashley, and Cassie, plus the Phantom Ranger and the Blue Centurion to be the Turbo Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Starting from the very beginning.
Okay. Well, that just leaves 2017, or do I dare ask that question?
Well, it was pretty ambitious. I didn't really watch much of it, probably because of my own bias towards the series from the 90s. It's an interesting stunt to get new viewers to tune into Power Rangers. But seriously, this whole Mighty Morphin nostalgia, it's annoying. Granted, I still like Mighty Morphin, but can we get real here about it? Can we get real here about Mighty Morphin? It's not as great as what we remember it to be. Sorry to the Mighty Morphin devotees, but it's true.
Sorry, someone had to do it. Well, even I know that, you know, some stuff hasn't aged that well. I still adore the
I mean,
series,
you're looking at a guy who firmly believes that the trifecta of Power Rangers being outstanding are the following series: Time Force holding the gold medal, In Space holding the silver medal, and Lost Galaxy holding the bronze medal. And that's just for Saban series. For Disney era, guess what ends up winning the gold medal? RPM, of course. Following suit with Dino Thunder, and
That
then
was a good
Jungle
series.
Fury, and SPD.
Okay. Cool. Okay, I think that answers that question on the movie. The movies, I should say. Okay.
I
Oh,
mean,
I gotta ask this.
I'd be cool if Time Force actually got a legacy sequel, or we could have seen more of it because it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it deserves its laurels for being probably the most mature season of Power Rangers.
Sure, I agree. Let's see. Okay. What did you think of the 30th anniversary series, Once and Always?
Well, okay. If I had it my way, I would have actually brought in the next generation to be the new breed of Rangers. Why only have men? Look, I think that Charlie Kersh is absolutely brilliant, absolutely talented, but I think we need some fresher, younger, newer blood. Granted, David Yost, Walter Manuel Jones, Steve Cardenas, and Catherine Sutherland are still charismatic, but we need fresher blood. And I don't mean to sound rather brutal about it, but we do need younger faces as the new breed of Rangers. Here's my proposal. Obviously, we have Min, who is Trini's daughter. Okay? My proposal would be the following. Why not have Tommy's and Kimberly's son and daughter join as Power Rangers? Why not have Jason and Kat's son join along? Why not have, and for that matter, I've always been a Zach Trini shipper. I think Zach would make a good father figure.
Well, he did in this one.
Yeah, I would say that Zach Trini should have been the real deal. Adam, and why not also have Adam and Aisha's kid join along? Why not have what do you call this? Rocky's and Tanya's kid join along. Billy's and Heather's kid. Yeah, there you go. So you got couples in the forms of Tommy and Kimberly.
Of course.
Hooray, hooray. Jason and Kat, Rocky and Tanya, Adam and Aisha, Zach and Trini, before I slip. Then Zach and Trini, Billy and Heather. Yeah.
Yep.
It makes sense, doesn't it? So I would say that this is how I would arrange this, Tommy's and Kimberly's son and daughter. I think JJ, he might as well be Kimberly's son. So JJ obviously being the new Green Ranger. And I would say that Tommy's and Kimberly's daughter could be the new Pink Ranger, right? Or maybe have JJ have a brother. Maybe you could have JJ be the Green Ranger and his brother be the White Ranger. And while we're at it, let's have Jason's and Kat's son be the Red Ranger. Let's have Zach's and Trini's daughter Min be the Yellow Ranger. Let's have Billy's and Heather's daughter be the Pink Ranger. Let's have Rocky's and Tanya's son be the Blue Ranger. And let's have Adam's and Aisha's son be the Black Ranger. That's how I would solve this.
I like it.
I have no fault against Steve Cardenas as Rocky, no fault against Walter Manuel Jones as Zach, no fault against David Yost as Billy, and no fault against Catherine Sutherland as Kat. And for goodness sakes, why opt for Robo Rita Repulsa? Let's have someone new.
Well,
it's hard. It's in the right
we're
place.
banking more on nostalgia with this one, since 30th anniversary.
It's in the right place, but it should be a legacy series done right. And I know it was 30 years since Mighty Morphin aired, but come on. Could have had a new breed of Rangers.
Could have, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I would ask one question, but I'm going to save that for a little later. And I think you know which one it will be, but we'll save that. And for those of you who don't know, we are not Tommy and Kat fans here. We despise that notion completely. But we'll get into that later. So let's see. Here we go. You did say which was the best season. So which was the worst for you?
Oh my gosh. I know I'm gonna sound rather bitter and jaded when I say this, but I don't really care much for the Neo Saban seasons. My take is this: Megaforce and Super Megaforce are the worst culprits. I wouldn't say that they were like the worst seasons, but the biggest Achilles heel that these two seasons have is that they were trying to redo the Mighty Morphin formula as in all 3 seasons for Megaforce, and then Zeo for Super Megaforce.
Yeah.
And what we get? A jumbled up rehash. Heck, even the bartender or the front guy of the juice bar is named Ernie, and now he's race swapped into being an Indian. You could have given a more original name. And it's sad, really, because it feels like the main stars of Megaforce and Super Megaforce are essentially riding the coattails of their Mighty Morphin and Zeo predecessors.
Yep.
Andrew Gray as Troy. I feel like he's riding off of Austin St. John as Jason Lee Scott, and Tommy Oliver, or excuse me, and Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, because both of them were Red Rangers. And to some extent, David Bacon as Orko. But Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers,
Yeah.
that would be a bit of another bone to pick a little bit later. But to the main point at hand, Azim Rizk as Jake, I felt like he was riding off of the coattails of Walter Manuel Jones and Johnny Young Bosch. Then you got John Mark Loudermilk as Noah. He's essentially Black Billy. I'm sorry, but he's Black Billy. He's essentially riding off the coattails of David Yost and to some extent Steve Cardenas during his bluesy arranger years, but it's mostly David Yost's Billy. Sierra Hanna as Gia, I feel like she has the lion's share of big shoes to fill in. And you know why. Because she not only has to fill in the shoes left by Tui Trang as Trini, but also Karen Ashley as Aisha and Nakia Baris as Tanya. That's quite a huge responsibility for someone like Sierra Hanna back then, isn't it?
Yep.
And she also has to fill in some shoes left by Allison Kipperman as Taylor. So those are big shoes that Sierra Hanna had to fill.
Yeah.
Speaking of shoes, Christina Masterson as Emma. Guess who she had to fill the shoes of?
Yep.
Take a
Kimberly.
wild guess. Well, not just her. Not just her, mind you.
Okay, who else?
Kat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's got to fill out both Kim's and Kat's shoes. Well, and by that extent, Christina Masterson also has to fill in the likes of what Amy Jo Johnson had to offer as Kimberly, plus what Catherine Sullivan had to offer as Kat. And both Robo Knight and Orion. Robo Knight, I think he was voiced by Chris Glenn. Orion, I know that he was performed by Cameron Gibo. Robo Knight and his bad, with his bad side, he has to fill in the shoes left by Tommy Oliver during his Green Ranger years, or during his first tenure as the evil Green Ranger. And Robo Knight isn't really that much of a classic Ranger.
Nope.
But he's close. Then you got Orion, who I still can't believe was the sixth Ranger introduced in Megaforce, when I would make the argument that he should have been introduced in, or excuse me, Super Megaforce, when he should have been introduced in Megaforce. Yeah, he's got shoes to fill in left by both Trey of Triforia and Jason Lee Scott as the Gold Ranger, and even to some extent Tommy Oliver during his White Ranger years.
Yep.
So you can easily imagine the weight that was bearing on these performers' shoulders. And especially the rehashes that unfortunately dragged these two down. And the worst part is the glorified cameos of the previous Rangers. I mean, we could have seen more of them.
Yep.
We could have seen a shit ton more of them.
And I know I keep repeating this,
if I had it my way, I would have gladly made Tommy don his red Zeo outfit again. I know he's iconic as both the White and Green Rangers. But since he's leading the damn thing, why not have him as a red Zeo Ranger again?
Why not?
Yeah.
And either way,
He earned his stripes.
And either way, they should have had the Megazord battle. That was unforgivable that they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, my beef mainly lies in just the underutilization of the previous Rangers.
Yeah, that too. They focus mostly on the Megaforce Rangers, and we all know it.
Yeah.
They were the
I
ones
would
doing all
say
the
that
work.
these Rangers, these older Rangers, should have been mentors, not that Zordon ripoff Gosse and that
Ugh.
Alpha 5 ripoff, too.
Cheaply made alpha ripoff, I might say, just because.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, Megaforce and Super Megaforce could have been better if the veteran Rangers served as mentors.
Yep.
I mean, look at Dino Thunder. Look at Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
They did it well.
Exactly.
Granted, you could bump the Ranger members up to 7 if you had Cassidy as the Pink Ranger and Devin as the Green Ranger. Therefore, it would be the complete package of white, black, red, blue, green, yellow, and pink. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Megaforce and Super Megaforce should have utilized its concept way better.
Yep.
Instead of just relying on Mighty Morphin nostalgia.
It's true. It's exactly what happened.
Speaking of wasted opportunities, look what happened to Lauren in Power Rangers Samurai. I can't help but feel really terrible, not only for her character, but also for Kimberly Crossman, her actress.
Yeah.
Granted, nothing terrible happened to her. I mean, she's living her best possible life, but Lauren, I think, really does deserve better. I mean, look, you got 2 Red Rangers, okay? You got 2 Red Ranger siblings. We've seen this done before in Time Force. Why the hell couldn't this be done in Samurai?
I don't know. It's beyond me.
I would even argue that if I had it my way, I would probably make Lauren the leader. Jaden, in my opinion, I don't really buy him too much as a leader of his team.
He
I
doesn't
think
really
Lauren
act
would
like one.
definitely- Yeah, he acts more like a bit of a lancer. Like here's the scenario. I would gladly have Lauren be the Wes to Jaden's Eric. I mean, the parallels are quite clear, aren't they?
Yeah.
Much like how Wes is the better, more attentive Red Ranger leader, although Jen takes charge. But let's face it, Wes is more of a delegator. He's more of the one who really leads his team and has really come his own. That's why I love him as a Red Ranger. And Lauren could be akin to Eric, in which she's also a Red Ranger. And I think with Lauren's design, she could have been given a little bit more of a Crimson design. Hell, she could have gone the Ryan Mitchell route, and she should have remained as a 7th Ranger altogether.
Yeah.
She could have been the Ruby Ranger if I had it
Why not?
my way.
I hear you. Okay, let's see. Who do you think is the best villain and the worst?
Okay. Astronema, without a doubt. Her
was.
story, it could definitely give a lot of Greek tragedies a run for their money. Not to mention Shakespearean tragedies, too. The fact that this girl was kidnapped when she was very, very young, and she ended up becoming a sort of vicious entity of malignance and conquest, even to the point where Andros has been searching so long and hard for her to realize that Corona and Astronema were one of the same, and he tries so hard to save her. But then, when push comes to shove, she ends up being brainwashed into becoming this more warped and evil version, to the point of creating the Psycho Rangers.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's really because of her story that is thoroughly engaging, and that's made me feel a lot for her. She's also set the stage for other redeemable villains, like
Sure.
Rancic, for example, and Nadira.
Right.
But when it
Okay.
comes to the vengeance-seeking villains, Frax.
Hmm.
Frax definitely reigns supreme.
Definitely.
Mm.
Okay, so who's
As
the worst?
for worst ones, man, I don't think I have a worst villain that comes
No?
to mind.
Well, okay.
No. I mean, Diva Talks, she's not terrible, but she's campy. She can be fun, but I think it kind of shows you right there that the campiness got kind of old after Rita Repulsa set the stage of what evil, campy sassiness looked like. Diva Talks, I felt like, was just kind of riding on those coattails. That's not to diss Hillary Shepard Turner because she did absolutely brilliantly, and not to diss on Carol Hoyt. They both did brilliantly, although I do love Hillary Shepard Turner without a doubt. But it's just that with Diva Talks, well, she's just campy. She is just campy. That's it.
Yep. Okay.
And fun. And fun.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. The comic books. Do you think they're canon to the series like a lot of people claim?
It's its own universe.
I agree. I agree.
They expand on the universe and they expand on the world building, and I'd say that they're modern classics.
Okay.
Although I do question some of the shippings, though. Jason with
Yeah.
Lauren Cuba? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. Jason is old enough to be her freaking uncle.
Not to mention how they keep trying to force Cat on us with Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
save that
if
for
I had
later.
it my way, if I had it my way, I would always insist that Jason should end up with Kat and Tommy should end up with Kimberly. It's not like I don't care for Emily on Zio, but she was nice and all, but I feel like with Jason and Kat, there's a whole lot more you could work with.
Yeah, I agree.
And 3
Okay.
seasons of Tommy Kimberly goodness,
Mm.
unbeatable, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is, definitely.
But
And you
look at
know
the
what?
bright side. At least West Jen was able to preserve that unbeatability.
That's true. That's true. Okay, next one. This is going to be an interesting question. This comes up every now and again, but the 1995 film, do you think that might be possibly canon to the series in a way?
Partially. Although season 3's own premiere was pretty much its own canon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have no doubt about that one either. I remember a lot of people described it as being in a different universe when it's the movie, you know. And I can't say that I argue with that too much. I really can't, because
Not to mention the more decked out suits.
yeah,
See
totally.
why.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. This is a more recent one. Now that Hasbro has finally dropped Power Rangers and Paramount is picking up the mantle.
Oh man.
Thank you, Lord. Well, what are you hoping for with that? Do you think they could improve it? Do you think they might screw it up like Hasbro did? Any possible hopes? Because I hear they're thinking of rebooting it still, but that's just me. I hate
Please,
reboots.
no more Mighty Morphin. Please. Please, no Mighty Morphin.
I just want it to continue because let's get real. Mighty Morphin is its own thing, and I think it needs to be left alone.
Yeah. Or please, no Mighty Morphin nostalgia. Hell, you should have also. Hell, if I had it my way, The likes of Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger could have been adapted into Power Rangers. That would have been really fun.
Okay.
Or you could have also had Zyuoja be adapted. You could have had Tokyoja be adapted. You
Sure.
could have had all those other Sentai series be adapted into Power Rangers.
Hmm.
You could have even had, like, let's say, what I'm kind of doing is sort of making Power Rangers dream teams, right?
Why not?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see. We're down to 3 final questions here. This one. Okay, maybe I should do this next, but I'm going to save it for last. So, the next one is going to be, what is it about Power Rangers and heck, even Super Sentai that you love so much?
Fight choreography, that's number one thing. And not to mention all the action, the tension, and the excitement that I see and witness from the main heroes transforming into their ranger forms, or shall I say, morphing up and suiting up and doing battle against the
Right.
monsters. That is definitely my idea of sheer brilliance, action, tension,
Sorry.
and exceptional thrills when I think of Power Rangers. Not to mention
Sorry.
martial arts choreography. You gotta give it credit where credit is due.
I agree. Sorry about that little thing. I was trying to get something ready for later, and that kind of interrupted, folks. I did not expect it to just pop up like that. Um,
No
okay.
worries.
Well, I totally agree with you on there. Okay. Second to last question. What
Hmm?
impact has this show had on your life? Or did it, if any at all?
I think it did have a pretty interesting impact on me because I kind of had a little bit of an intermittent period with Power Rangers because after watching episodes here and there when I was a very young kid, I ended up catching Wild Force
Hmm,
on, in all places, Cartoon Network in the Philippines. And it kind of reignited my fascination of Power Rangers.
sure.
Plus, it also helped me to cherish how brilliant, unique, and amazing a lot of these Rangers were. And it wasn't just about witnessing all the amazing fight choreography, it was also about looking up to them as role models. I mean, these were characters who embodied self sacrifice, duty, allegiance, a tight knit friendship,
Sure.
and camaraderie, as well as benevolence. And even though that there are hoity-toity conservative parents thinking that Power Rangers is, too violent, well, you have to remember that they mainly use their, fights as self-defense, their combat skills as self-defense.
Yep.
And the best
I agree.
seasons also show that behind all the fights, behind all the combat, behind all that amazing fight choreography, these are people that I've come to appreciate and who've also had their fair share of character development as well as those that I look up to. I never expected to end up liking Lucas from Power Rangers Time Force because he's often that one ranger who ends up being the least favorite because
Mm,
people who love Time Force complain about him not getting as much development.
mm,
Well, I'm here to disagree because Lucas, his development is a lot more subtle. I know that it's sort of the case of him being kind of inferior to his blue Super Sentai counterpart for Time Ranger, named Ayase. But in Lucas's case, I think his growth is subtle. He grows from being a sort of guy who thinks that he's all cool and thinks that he is this hot shot to someone who has learned to trust Wes a lot more, and someone who is not afraid to let down his guard every once in a while, as well as show some warmth, and even stand up against Alex when he finds himself not agreeing with his old policies.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
that's a lot that I could see from a lot of these characters, especially the best written ones, because these were people that I genuinely looked up to and adore.
I can agree with that. Totally. Okay, now we're down to the final question, and oh boy, I know we technically already answered this, but and I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta bring this up.
Okay.
Tommy and Kim versus Tommy and Kat. What
Look,
and why?
I'm Tomberly all the way, you know. I've been Tomberly all the way because look, 3 seasons. You got to remember, and I'm sure that our viewers watching this will agree. Tommy and Kimberly definitely had the most intrinsically intriguing and just well written relationship in any
They did.
live action series or live action series that revolves around fight choreography and that's for the family.
Sure.
And these two, they've seen each other's, sorry. Yeah. They've seen each other's good sides, bad sides, and ugly sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they never flinched. They never, ever, ever flinched. Even when Tommy was almost about to go back to the dark side.
Yep.
Guess who's always there for them? Guess who always
Kimberly.
tried to see the best in him? All the
Kimberly.
damn time. Yep. And when Kimberly had her moments of flailing, who was there to save her?
Tommy, through and through.
Without a doubt. So,
Heck, even the damsel in distress thing. Who was there? Tommy.
Tommy,
And that did
without a
happen a
doubt.
few times. So
Yeah. And it's been for 3 damn seasons. And their romance was definitely a great development.
yep.
And they set the stage. They set the stage for greater Ranger couples to flourish, especially where Wes and Jen are concerned. In fact, I would go out of my way and say that Tommy and Kimberly hooked their arms together and strolled in the park for Wes and Jen to get on their jetpacks and fly over them
Nice.
with glee.
Of course.
It also helps that in real life, Jason David Frank and Jason Font were good buddies, almost like brothers.
Yeah, that's right. They
So
were.
I could definitely see Tommy and Kimberly passing down the torch of being an amazingly dynamic couple to Wes and Jen.
Yeah.
And Tomcat, well, it's okay if it were in more competent hands, but I'll never forgive the Dear John letter.
No.
These writers did not know what the fudge they were doing because they did not even care about 3 damn seasons of amazing chemistry between Tommy and Kat or Tommy and Kimberly. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, they just
If I had
quickly
it my
tried to
way,
push
you
her
might
out.
as well have Kat and as I said before, you might as well have Cat boink Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we all know that the only reason they were trying to push for this was because obviously Amy wasn't going to come back because one,
Yep.
she moved on from Power Rangers. To put it
Not to
simply,
mention
there was
she's
more to it than
taken on
that, but
more mature roles.
yeah,
Not to
but
mention
still,
Amy Jo Johnson has taken more mature roles.
yeah, she has. But still, you know,
And
the whole thing that they did
yeah,
that, it was ridiculous.
yeah. And this is also my take on a possibility if Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson ended up together.
Mm,
The concept of it is brilliant. It's nice. And they did seem to have genuine chemistry. Hooray. But
yep.
you also got to understand their trajectories. First of all, with Amy Jo Johnson heading towards more mature projects, it would be kind of hard for someone like Jason David Frank to catch up because he would eventually find himself being more geared towards action heroes, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
for
Yeah.
AJ, well, it's kind of an eclectic mixture of characters and slice of life shows, and well, Flashpoint, which is a police
That was a
procedural
great series.
drama. So it would be kind of difficult for Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank to end up legitimately together with their trajectories kind of diverging and their repertoires also diverging.
Oh, I don't know, but that's something we'll never know because it never happened. So,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you, I still think that had they gotten together, he would still be with us because she wouldn't have pushed him over the edge
Yeah.
like she did, like what's her name did. So,
Tammy?
yeah,
Or you don't want to mention her name? Yeah,
take your pick. It don't matter to me.
I mean,
So,
yeah, I think it's just kind of I think it is really sad to know that, well, then again, there's a whole lot more to that than meets the eye. I mean, we also have to remember that Jason David Frank and his short-lived MMA career, that kind of messed him up physically, and
yeah,
you can't afford to have that much muscle juice in your system just to make it to heavyweight, only to end up with a bicep tear when you could have just opted to compete middleweight.
yeah.
So why the fudge would you ever push yourself into a weight category that was not really you in the first place?
I don't know. I still think
If
you
he had,
shouldn't have bothered with MMA.
I think if he had touched MMA, he should have just remained with middleweight.
Yeah,
Leave the heavyweights to the actual heavyweights. Leave leave the additional muscle pumping to the real bodybuilders or the real muscle men, and just for God's sake, remain with middleweight.
yeah.
It
I agree.
ain't rocket science, bro. It ain't rocket science.
Nope.
It's freaking biology. And I am not even a biologist myself.
Yeah. Okay. Getting back to the main thing without bringing up what the dark turn that poor Jason went through. Believe it or not, recently I was working on Power Rangers Power Playback video. Well, correction, a video talking about Power Rangers Power Playback. I don't know. Did you ever hear that where you were?
Power Rangers playback.
Power Playback.
Um,
Power Rangers Power
a power
Playback.
playback. No, no, but I've only
Okay,
heard about the Power Rangers Legacy game. Seems
that's
really
good stuff.
cool. I've seen
Those
trailers
are
of
good.
that. Hell,
They're awesome.
especially Dan Southworth announcing his presence as Eric Myers, the
Yeah.
Quantum Ranger. Well, there you go.
Well, okay, I'll just give you a little small course here. During the 90s, right when Turbo was bombing big time before they made the cast switch, and of course before Power Rangers in Space came in to save the day, and that's what saved the
Right.
franchise. There's no doubt about that. But
Yep.
out of desperation to try to keep the audience that they were losing, and they were losing them, I quit for a while too. Well, they put on Power Rangers Power Playback. What it was, basically, they just had a slot where they just showed old episodes of Power Rangers from season 1 all the way to Zeo. And then, of course, when Power Rangers in Space came along, they added Turbo in there as well. But most people did this click enough when it came to Turbo. And then, of course, when Lost Galaxy showed up, they added Space into it. And then
Right.
of course, when Disney bought the rights, well, that was the end of the Power Playback. But in a nutshell, it kept the franchise alive. But here's an important thing here. I found, while I was doing a little research, I found some promo footage, for like commercials for it. This was all Fox Kids, by the way. I'm sure this never popped up on Cartoon Network or anything, and I can understand why. But in fact, nobody remembers this. So hopefully you'll check out that video because I'll release it sooner or later, and I think
Fox
you'll love
Kids.
it. Yeah, I think you'll find it interesting. It's basically everything that I just said. But here's the thing. I found this footage that I think will be interesting to note for all those Tomcat fans, and especially people like Saban and them who tried pushing that down our throats. Just watch, and you'll see what I mean.
All right.
Let's begin.
You want the Power Rangers?
We want the Power Rangers!
You can't handle the Power Rangers!
I can't stand the excitement!
Deep down in places you don't like to talk about. You want to see classic Power Ranger episodes starring Kimberly and Tommy.
Dragon Sword!
You need to see classic Power Ranger episodes starring Kimberly and Tommy.
Whoa!
Now, thanks to Power Ranger Power Playback, you can catch the best Mighty Morphin Power Ranger shows of all time on Power Playback at a new time, Saturday morning at 8:30 on Fox Kids. You want the Power Rangers?
Note, you want to see episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. You need to see episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. So obviously they knew who really belonged together here.
The semantics really do make sense here. And remember, it's not necessarily want to see them. We need to see them.
Exactly. In fact,
three
just for
seasons of development.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
3 seasons of strong writing with these two, and not to mention 3 seasons of unconditional love.
Yep. And you know what, folks? Just for the hell of it, just to remind everybody, for all you Tomcat fans, let's watch that again.
You want the Power Rangers?
We want the Power Rangers!
You want the Power Rangers?
We want the Power Rangers!
You can't handle the Power Rangers!
I can't stand the excitement!
Deep down in places you don't like to talk about. You want to see classic Power Ranger episodes starring Kimberly and Tommy.
Dragon Sword!
You need to see classic Power Ranger episodes starring Kimberly and Tommy.
Whoa!
Now, thanks to Power Ranger Power Playback, you can catch the best Mighty Morphin Power Ranger shows of all time on Power Playback at a new time, Saturday morning at 8:30 on Fox Kids. You want the Power Rangers?
Okay, I'm going to pull that off now. And once again, they even said deep down in places you don't like to talk about, you want to see classic episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. And you need to see classic episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. Notice they did not say cat in any way. So they obviously knew who really, and I mean really, belonged together.
Yeah, definitely.
And let's get real. Who's the real power couple here? Tommy and Kim or Tommy and Kat? We know the answer. Totally Tomberly. Definitely them. And, I just had to save that for you because I just knew you would love that.
I did.
Yeah.
And it also does bring me joy, especially when it comes to Fox Kids. I've only seen Fox Kids shows in various networks. Maybe only a smidge of Fox Kids when I was visiting the United States, but I've seen this through its programming. I've seen it through its, it's not just its programming in different networks, but also its strong legacy. It's incredible.
It does. Yeah, and these days, you can find a lot of stuff like that on YouTube. There's this one guy who did like a whole thing of Fox Kids, like TV shows that went for like one whole day. I'm talking like, the Saturday morning lineup here for like one time and then another, that sort of thing. And anybody who doesn't know about that, I suggest you try and look that up. It's pretty awesome. To me, it's just nostalgia all the way because, hey, that was what I had. I had Fox Kids. But the key thing is they seriously, and I do mean seriously, acknowledged who do we really want? Tommy and Kim? Yes, we do. That's the truth.
Yes.
So, yeah. And folks, that wraps it up. I might even just put that promo out there just to spite those Tomcat fans just for the heck of it. I might just do that just for laughs. You know what? I think I will. I probably do that following this interview, because why not? I think the world needs to acknowledge the truth here that who really belongs together. I mean, who's really the real power couple? Oh, and for the record, Tommy and Kimberly have one thing up over every other Power Ranger couple. And you can blame the writers and whoever for this one. They're the only Power Ranger couple to actually kiss each other. The rest of them, they usually hug or hold hands.
Exactly. Guess what? If I had it my way, Wes and Jen should have kissed.
Yeah, especially when he proposed to her, for crying out loud. Come on. Yeah.
They could have freaking smooched.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he was the one who proposed to her, right? Or am I thinking a different season?
Alex who
proposed
to her.
Right.
But then when Alex started to try to reclaim his team and saw a side of him that wasn't particularly nice, Wes, he became the better man.
Okay, that's cool. But either way, folks, let's wake up to a reality here. It is a known fact that when you propose to your girlfriend, what do you do when she says yes? Do you hug or do you give her a big kiss? If you vote give her a big kiss, that's it. You don't hug. Come on. What is everybody?
Embrace and kiss.
Well, okay, both. Yes, both, definitely. You don't just do hugs, though, or hold hands.
Yeah, that's a complete cop-out.
Yeah. I mean, my friend DHR talked about that once, and he even said it best. What are they afraid of? I mean, Tommy and Kim, we all loved that. We were cheering for them. Granted, they only did it twice on the series, but that's not the point. The point is, they did it, and, nobody was mad about it. Nobody hated it. Everybody loved it.
Exactly.
It was a great moment.
Yeah. I loved it to death, man.
Yep. All right. Well, that pretty much sums it up, folks. So I want to thank my bro Antoni here for joining me on this one. So, and definitely I will be airing that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
For having me on
I'm
board.
glad to have you here.
It was so fun.
Totally. And I will definitely be airing that after this premieres. So, not the same day, mind you, but it's going to happen because you want to see episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. You need to see episodes with Tommy and Kimberly. And that's the truth. So
absolutely.
Okay. But anyway, hopefully we can do something like this in the future, like anything Power Rangers related, since we just did the interview. But until then, this is Movie Fan signing off.
And this is Antoni signing off too. See you next time, and may the power protect you all.
Totally.